It's happy hour near Wall Street, and I'm going to visit one of the most talked about bars anywhere in the world. It's a pub called Dead Rabbit, started by two friends from Belfast, known the world over for making the best cocktails.
This is the Francis Tavern Historical Block. It's 16 buildings. This is one that was built in 1828. It's a 6-story basement and 5 stories above it. Yeah?
Dead Rabbit was opened by Sean Muldoon and his partner Jack McGarry in 2013. It's named after the Irish street gang that ruled this part of New York in that era.
We have 3 bars that are open to the public. We have the ground floor tap room, which we're going to walk into now. Then we have the Parlor, which is the first floor upstairs. And finally we have the occasional room, which is the 2nd floor upstairs. Welcome to the tap room. Okay, so this is what we would consider to be a proper Irish pub. So myself and Jack both come from the same area of North Belfast, a place called Ardoyne, and these pictures are all from Ardoyne over the last 100 years. So a lot of these people are people that we went to school with. They're people that our uncles, our aunts, my wife's grandfather, my mother, my father, they're all up there somewhere. And we have a lot of people from back home in Belfast that come in just to see themselves on the roof. Yeah.
And so how do you select, you see a long wall of alcohol. How many Irish whiskeys do you have here?
We have the biggest collection of Irish whiskey in the USA. We have 180 different bottles.
180?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite Irish whiskey?
I mean, I have many favorites. It's all like, some of it's very expensive. The one that I like that is not too expensive is Parr's Signature. I just think it's exceptional. We use it in our Irish coffee upstairs. The pubs that I love are the pubs that do not have TVs, where you just go and it's all a conversation. And they're the ones that I really, really love. And that's what this bar's about.
The downstairs tap room serves beer and casual cocktails. This is where Wall Streeters, locals, families, and travelers from everywhere, including the home country, come to gather.
They love the style of drink we do down here, and they probably wouldn't even like the style of drink upstairs. Too strong, too bitter, too cocktaily. They like the cocktails down here. So Henry's a friend of ours that died about 2 years ago. He was a great bartending buddy of ours. He was all about tequila. He never got to see this bar, unfortunately, but a lot of bartenders from especially England and people who are into tequila all over the world, they would come to this corner and they would sit and toast to Henry. A very special person to us. It's just a table that people come and pay homage to this great man. But it's well known. Everybody knows what Henry's Corner is.
Upstairs, the Parlor room is another world altogether.
There's a waiting list typically to get up these stairs to get into this room. But up here is where people would travel from all over the world to come to have proper cocktails.
This is where Dead Rabbit pours the innovative cocktails that put this pub on the map in a major way. It all began for these guys when they worked in the bar at the Merchant Hotel in Belfast.
We worked in a bar in Belfast that was a real high-end cocktail bar, and we drank in a pub up the street, which was a deep down and dirty Irish whiskey bar. And when we came to New York, we wanted to bring both those ideas together.
And so you didn't drink when you were younger, correct?
I didn't drink until I was 21.
Really? Yeah. You might be the only person.
Definitely the only person in Northern Ireland.
Yeah. When did that switch flip for you, where you decided that you wanted to be part of the cocktail movement?
I get into bartending by just because it was very hard to get employment in any shape or form in Belfast, and I worked for a year practically for free. I wanted to be able to travel, I wanted to be able to get out of Belfast at that time, to be honest. There was all the trouble was still happening.
Then Sean happened upon a story about a humble woodworker who became among the best in the world at his craft.
And it made me think, you can take anything, no matter how humble it seems, you can take anything and you can be very average at it, you can be extraordinary at it. It's just about belief, it's about sacrifice, it's about being prepared to chase your dreams. And I decided in 1998 in Belfast that I wanted to be the best in the world at what I did.
And so how did you come to the bartending craft or trade?
So I basically started out when I was just about to turn 16.
Were you allowed to drink at that age?
I was drinking, but you weren't allowed to. My mum and dad had no money, so I was at that stage where it was like, go out and get your own money. So I started working in a pub, like just a normal pub down the street that my cousin ran. I fell in love with cocktails, and from that I knew that there was a living to be made in bartending.
That's when their paths crossed. Sean hired Jack at the Merchant, where Jack became known as one of the most gifted bartenders anywhere, creating drinks inspired by mid-20th century glamour. At the Dead Rabbit, history of an earlier time and place is at the heart of the inspiration.
We knew the first cocktail movement began on Broadway, just around the corner here, in the 1850s. And we also knew that there was a famine in Ireland, a great hunger, where 1 million immigrants came through the port of New York, which is now called South Street Seaport. So we knew just up there and just around there was an Irish and cocktail thing happening at the same time, just in the same area, but side by side. And we thought that was the thing, that was the reason why we wanted to come to downtown, because this is where it happened.
So did you identify with that character at all of like, Irish immigrants coming to New York to try to make a new life?
We had to go through a lot of hardship to get this place open, and our story was very reminiscent of what immigrants would have had to go through when they first came here. I mean, we were no different than any other New York. When any other person comes to New York, they find it hard. We're not saying that we were different, but it was very, very difficult for 2.5 years before we opened the place. We didn't have a building. We only had a concept. We had a guy who had some money, and that was it. We didn't know people who knew how to open bars. We didn't know how it all worked over here. And there was times when we were really doubting if it was ever going to happen or not. And the only thing that kept us going in those dark, dark days was each other, feeding off each other. That was it. We sort of forced it to happen.
We opened when it was a nor'easter in town, and we thought we weren't going to be busy, but as soon as we were open, we were packed.
We were originally meant to open like November time in 2012, and then Hurricane Sandy happened, and it wiped out this part of town. Dead Rabbit became very, very highly anticipated because, is this bar ever going to open? Started to become exciting on Facebook. People were starting to listen to us, people were starting to follow us. And then I just remember that post, I think it was on the Thursday. He said, enough's enough, we're opening tomorrow. That was the post. And God, the way it was received was unbelievable. And we were packed from the word go. We opened at 5 and it was packed from the word go. That was an unbelievable feeling.
One of the bar's standouts is the historic cocktail menu that reads like a book of short stories. I asked Jack to make me his favorite drink of the moment.
So the drink I would like to make you today is called a Mean Fiddler. It's one of my favourite ones on the menu at the moment, and it's a riff on a Tipperary, which is an essential Irish whiskey cocktail. Also you have green spot Irish whiskey, you have sweet vermouth, green chartreuse, Campari, an Islay whiskey, and then it's finished off with cinnamon and aromatic bitters.
Shall we?
Yes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So we're going to start off with a dash of aromatic bitters. So it's just one dash. And then we're going to add half a teaspoon of cinnamon cordial. So this is just like a normal simple syrup infused with cinnamon. And then to that we're going to add half an ounce of Islay whiskey. The same again of Campari. So the Campari is going to give you a nice bitterness. And then an herbal liqueur called green chartreuse. So that's going to be 3/4 ounce. And then the same again of a sweet vermouth. The sweet vermouth we're using today is Conky Trino. And then we're going to finish it off with a single pot still Irish whiskey called Green Spot. So just 1 ounce of that. And then we can add our ice. And we'll just stir it up for a bit. So when you're stirring, a lot of the stirred drinks, you're looking to get a lovely kind of silky texture. So to make sure that you have that, you don't want to be over diluting it. So you want to keep that silk. If you're ready now. And then we're just going to strain into your coupe. And there you go. It's your Mean Fiddler.
Mean Fiddler. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah?
That's really good.
A great customer experience in a bar is something you can't quite put your finger on. When everything works together in perfect harmony, and you walk out that bar and you think, do you want to know something? I had a great night. I don't quite know what it was. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I know I'll be back to that place again.
We stayed into the evening as the place grew crowded. What brings you to the Dead Rabbit?
We had a client meeting across the street, and whenever we're down here in the Wall Street area, we always go to the Dead Rabbit.
what keeps bringing you back?
I mean, look at it, whiskey. Wall-to-wall whiskey.
There's a lot of whiskey.
It's always the first choice for people. Can we get into the Dead Rabbit? If not, I'll go somewhere else.
What's the favorite drink, best drink that you've had here?
Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter.
On actually the first night, Jack brought us in. We did a tasting of the entire menu, and we got halfway through it. That's how big it is. That's how expansive it is. But we got through about half the menu between 6 of us. So the Helter Skelter all the way is the best.
What's in a Helter Skelter?
Don't ask us. Too pissed at that point.